Here we are puttering away in the shop again. It's October 12th, and what better way to spend an evening than working on another broken toy, right? Well, this is another Foreman, like the one I bought last spring. Purchased it not running, in a state of disrepair, as most of them seem to be. And this one I solved the problem. It didn't have it had ignition, but it was intermittent. And it was the pulse coil. The pulse coil had swelled up. I think there's internal corrosion in it. And it had hit the flywheel. So I was getting spark like every second or third rotation. Don't confuse that with strokes if you four-stroke guys out there. Anyway, the point of it is that it wasn't firing every time. It would fire every few times. And anyway, nevertheless, put a new one in from Honda. The one that was in there was not a Honda part. And maybe that's one of the reasons why it failed as well. Who knows? Runs great now. Push the button, fires up every time. I put a carb on it as well. Chinese carburetor. Runs great. I was surprised, but now I have them on both. So both bikes are running Chinese carburetors and they work fantastic. After that, I got into fixing the front bumper system because the front bumper was all busted up, and the corrosion inside of the tubing had made the wall thickness so thin that it was almost unsavable. So I basically cut it off, right here, and built this section from some scrap. I had a couple old, well, they're not old, they were new bumpers. They're Kimpex bumpers, and I cut them up and made this arrangement and built a heavy-duty 3/16 steel base that's all welded in for the winch to mount on, because they had the winch mounted up here with just like P-clamps. It was loose, and the fair lead for the cable was also just held in with some clamps. It wasn't strong at all, so I made a structure up for it, and it's all beefed up now, and it works great. I was amazed to see that I really didn't think the winch was going to work after all that. I didn't test it first. I probably should have. But, and I built it to fit this particular winch, which I think is, I don't know. It's probably an Amazon job. Who knows what. If you recognize that brand, maybe give me a comment and let me know what it is, because I don't know what it is. It does work. Will be interesting to see what it can actually pull, or how strong it is. So I got to rewire this. Obviously, got to run some wiring, tidy everything up here before I can button it up. And I just felt like doing some cosmetic stuff tonight. So I got into, trying to improve this sad-looking situation, because it was obviously left out in the sun quite a bit. And I did a little bit of homework on the web. I saw people taking blowtorches to these things, and I'm like, well, if heat's going to bring that pigment back out, let's do that, because it would look much nicer, especially these nice fenders. And but I prefer to use something I can control better, like the heat gun. And you can see the section I've done here so far, and it works really, really well. I don't know how long it'll last, but here, we'll see if we can give you a demonstration of it. Love these foot protectors in here. Much better. This is the ES, so it's electronic shift, and it's fantastic compared to the manual shift or the S model, which works fine and it's reliable. It's not nearly as nice as the buttons, though. They work fantastic. So with the heat gun, the heat's a little lower than a torch, and you can control it and just work your way across. This will melt that plastic, so you don't want to stay anywhere too long, but at least it's not like a blowtorch. So you've got a little time for error, if you know what I mean. It's not as crazy. You can't be in a rush, though, because it's not fast. So if you're in a rush, I guess get a torch. But if it's important to you and you just want a nice job, the heat gun does it. I mean, as long as you got a decent heat gun, I'm assuming you do. Well, most of us do. If you're working in the shop, the heat gun gets used quite a bit, actually. Just for pulling bearings and heating casings and drying paint and you name it, the heat gun. He comes in handy. My old one finally fell apart after about 20 years, and I bought this guy on Amazon. It is a brand name though. It's the Black & Decker. Yep, the Black & Decker. Fantastic. I mean, look at this. It looks new. So if I do this and then I put a little protective on there, like some Meguiar's or like Armor All type stuff, then it's going to look fantastic. And my wife will be more likely to use it then, because, you know, it's got to look good, right? Can't be riding around on a sick-looking old dog. She doesn't like that much. Anyway, that's progressing nicely. Look how quick that doesn't take that long, really. And it's very satisfying. I'm feeling very, very satisfied right now. Just talking about it and showing you. I should pay attention when I'm pointing the camera. Huh? I'll show you the ceiling while I'm doing this. It's not going to be much good to you. So yeah, I mean, you can see the pattern in it from the heat. So where I've applied it a little irregularly. But once we spray a little protectant on there, I'm sure it'll blend in. It looks a hell of a lot better than this, that's for sure. This is old faded stuff, and I tried a spot on the hood actually, and so I did this front section, and I hit it quickly after with the buffer, a little bit of compound, and man, it doesn't look too bad at all. I mean, compared to this, if I can bring it all up like that, the thing's going to look fantastic, especially for a 21-year-old machine. Oh, sounds like the dog's found something outside. I better sign off and go find out what Heidi is up to. It's pitch black out there. She's probably found a porcupine, or worse. God knows. Anyway, you guys take care. Thanks for watching.